Gene Simmons' mansion is for sale in Beverly Hills, but this is an interesting one. He has some very strict criteria for the future buyer. Deion Sanders' former mansion in Texas just hit the market. They want $5.5 million for this one. Today, we are once again diving into some of the top celebrity and luxury real estate news from the last couple weeks. Let's get into it. Okay, for our first story, I actually want to talk about Mariah Carey because her former mansion in Connecticut just hit the market. Mariah lived here starting in July of 2023 when she signed a lease to pay $75,000 per month for this place, but now it's on the market. They want $14 million. Talk about a compound. This place is out of control. Look at the specs on this one. 12 bedrooms, 16 bathrooms, 18,000 square feet. It's just an unbelievable property. Like, you do not see estates like this come up for sale very often. I love how the grass is absolutely perfectly manicured for these photos. When you're driving up to the house, it's like something straight out of a movie. Check it out inside. So this home was originally built way back in 1929, but the description tells us that in 2014, the current owners hired an architect to help them navigate a 3-year renovation that cost them a total of $6 million. Okay, 30 photos in, we finally get to see what the kitchen looks like. Hard telling, but I'm gonna guess that this is like the butler's pantry. There's a bunch of these windows that look out into a central courtyard. The photos just go on and on, you guys. We're only at like photo 45 out of 127. So if you guys want to see this place in more detail, just pull up the listing for yourself so you can check everything out. The description also tells us that this home would cost about $25 million to replicate today if you wanted to rebuild it, which sounds about right. So yeah, priced at $14 million. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like this is a pretty decent value. That last house is gonna be tough to beat, but let's move on to that Gene Simmons story. This one's interesting. He just listed his mansion for sale in Beverly Hills. That stipulation I was talking about that Gene has for his buyers though, he doesn't want anyone to buy the house who does drugs. He doesn't want any alcoholics buying the house. He basically doesn't want any future buyer to destroy the place. I guess I get the request. It kind of makes sense, but come on, Gene. I don't really know how he's possibly going to enforce this unless he's like personally interviewing these buyers. Anyways, here's the listing on this one. Like I said, we're priced at $14 million. Unique home for sure. It's a Swiss architect called Design 21 who designed this place. Once you get inside, you got a lot of concrete and a lot of glass in here. They got a couple of wood tones though to warm things up. Here's the kitchen in this one. Very simple. Lots of natural light though in here. And I love it when people just slam the window right up against the countertop like this because the window becomes your backsplash, which is pretty cool. And then when it's opened up, it becomes a pass-through. I like his idea of interviewing these potential buyers, although I think that's gonna make it even harder to sell this, let's be honest. I would not want to be his real estate agent. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Now for our next story, Rosie ODonnell finally sold her house in New York after she quit the US and moved to Ireland. But she lost a fortune on this deal. Rosie paid $8 million for this one in 2017, but the Corcoran Group just revealed that the property has officially sold for only $4.75 million, meaning that Rosie took a $3.25 million loss on this home. Unless she needed that loss for like a tax write-off or something, I do not understand why she didn't just rent this place out or something. It was up here at the top of this building. Here's what it looked like inside. The place was just under 3,400 square feet. Nice kitchen, tons of natural light. I like the stainless steel a lot. Here's the master bedroom with some more views of office right across the street. And then probably one of the nicest amenities of living in the penthouse is that it also comes with this massive rooftop deck. For our last story of the day, let's look at Deion Sanders' former Texas mansion that just hit the market. This one needs a little love. Deion built this house for himself in the 1990s in the Texas town of Prosper, about an hour north of Dallas, but it just re-hit the market. 9 bedrooms, 30,000 square feet, sitting on 6 acres. What's interesting though is that when Deion owned this, it was 112 acres. So I guess he owned all this surrounding land. The people who bought it from him sold off a bunch of these parcels, and then those buyers ended up subdividing it and building all these other surrounding houses. So now you've got a bunch of neighbors here. Here's what the house looks like up close. I'm not gonna lie, I do not love the architecture. And then once you get inside, it is a bit grand, but you can start to understand why some of these articles were saying that this place needs a little bit of a refresh. Like, look at the kitchen. I can't tell if this kitchen looks futuristic or if it looks like a garage or if it looks like something straight out of the 90s. I don't know. Same story with The Office. Like, how does someone even focus if they're working in this office? This appears to be a nightclub that has had maybe some water damage. Not sure. It's not in great shape. In the middle of the master bathroom, you've got right now a big hole in the ground. That's not safe. Nice movie theater. More red though. Enough with the red. Come on. Oh my God. And here's like the man cave. This looks like a Chuck E. Cheese. I'm not gonna lie. Like, yeah, it's cool that you've got a bowling alley and stuff, but the colors are too much. I would love to see who buys this place, what they do with it. I'm sure that it's priced way beyond any of those comps that we were just looking at in the surrounding area. It's not like you could take this place and turn it into an Airbnb that sleeps like 40 people. That wouldn't make sense either. It's going to take a very specific type of buyer for this one. That's a wrap for this week's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below if you did, and I'll see you next week.